Vinyl brothers and sisters, are you ready for a smackdown, a showdown?
It's a top 5 showdown of
Ranking
ranking our
siblings.
bands with siblings in them.
Oh, I thought we were just ranking people's siblings.
Oh, like your cousin or
Yeah.
your brother's number one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that too.
Yeah.
We could rank our, like, put numbers on each of the siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
That would be different.
Forget it. We'll start over. No, we're ranking bands with siblings in them. If you dig into it, you will be overwhelmed by
There are a lot.
by the amount of them there are. But popular music would not be what it is today if there weren't a bunch of great sibling bands. So what our number 6 sibling record is the Vinyl Ventures record, as always.
VV.
So number 5, we talked about this, and we kind of think that even though their time has passed, the Bee Gees have one of the highest selling soundtracks in record history in Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, and those guys sold oodles of records in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and this is Bee Gees' main course. I think it's 1975. So, and this is really the first record where Barry singing in his falsetto was very prominent.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing for the Bee Gees for their whole career, but this is 75, so it's a few years before Saturday Night Fever, and it was a combination that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and the big hit on here, Jive Talking.
Oh, such a great song. They were from Australia originally, correct?
Yep.
And then did their family move to the UK?
I can't remember all the details, but I know they kind of started as like a Beatles type band.
Yeah.
When they first started.
Yeah. And by the way, Main Course is their 13th studio album
13th.
worldwide.
In 75.
Yeah, that's a lot. And like you said, Jive Talking, Nights on Broadway, and Fanny Be Tender With My Love. Those are the singles off of this one. So Bee Gees, number 5, super important sibling band. And, we're just going to go on with the list.
We're going to keep moving.
Who was our number 4, Mr. Wheeler? Oh, boy.
Number 4, we're going with Oasis.
Now, they have just announced a reunion, and they're going to be playing live shows next year. And I think they are re-releasing albums from the catalog. Of course, they don't have that many.
No, they don't have a big fat catalog like the Bee Gees with the But as we've seen so many times, re-releasing stuff has mass appeal.
Yeah.
Especially things that came out in the 90s during the CD era.
Mm-hmm. And they've been away for quite a while, and nothing gets that interest like through the roof, like going away. You just go away, you don't play shows, you don't do records, you don't get along.
You don't get along
at all, and then you come back, and then it explodes like this did for Oasis.
Yeah, they had basically 7 albums from 94 to 2008.
Yeah, which is a relatively short time, but man, they sold a lot of records too.
Yeah.
So Oasis is number 4, and we go from them to another infamous set of brothers, the Robinson brothers from the Black Crowes. Now, Wheels and I have seen them a couple times. I've seen the Black Crowes quite a bit. I haven't seen them on this most recent Happiness Bastards tour, but I have made it a point to go see them. They were kind of early on. They were more of a jam band.
Yeah.
Their concerts felt a little, maybe not quite Allman Brothers-y, but in that vein. And they've kind of gone back to just playing the hits and playing the music the way that it is recorded. I mean, they can all jam. They have great musicians with them, but you can't ignore the importance of the Robinson brothers on popular music. I mean, when that first Black Crowes album came out, it was right in the middle of the metal years of the 80s.
Yeah.
And here comes this throwback band that
Sounds
sounds like the Stones.
The Stones from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't overlook them. And listening back to their stuff now, because they went away for a while too.
Yeah.
and they seem to be holding it together.
And they're another band still doing it,
Yeah, yeah. So you can still
still
get out there and
cranking
see
out
it.
new music.
Yeah. What about number 2? Now, one of the most famous sets of brothers, of course, is the Allman Brothers, and
And we just mentioned the Allman Brothers, so
yeah.
why don't
So
you eat a peach?
yeah, Dwayne and Greg Allman and their band, one of the quintessential Southern rock jam bands, and you know, Dwayne played on countless records, uncredited most of the
Yeah.
time, and then Eric Clapton swiped him up and had him play on Layla and other love songs. I mean, what a band!
Yeah, formed in '69 and
Yeah.
went on to have a glorious career.
And another favorite of theirs.
Oh,
is,
yeah. Those two albums, if you're picking up two, Eat a Peach and Live at the Fillmore.
Yeah, yeah. You
And
can't-
really, half of Eat a Peach is live.
yeah, yeah. It's great. It's kind of crazy, how much of their own trail they blazed. But I love listening to the Allman Brothers. They are a great band. Very kind of underrated too. Kind of under the radar.
Yeah, they wind up, it's weird. They wind up as an also-ran a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, they just don't get mentioned. They're a really good jam band, but I mean, everybody's going to go with the Grateful Dead. But
Yeah,
the Allman Brothers have,
yeah.
I don't know, there's something about, and maybe it's because, Southern rock kind of gets swept under the rug sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about other famous jam bands out there. Fish is one, but they're more on the progressive end. Dave Matthews is his own thing, but they all owe the Allman Brothers a debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they've put out several albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of live albums.
Yep. And, we talk about the Allman Brothers here and there, but this other band, this last one, this number 1, you can't talk too much about the Van Halen brothers because honestly, I was thinking about it. I don't bring that first album that often. If we're talking about Van Halen stuff, I'll bring the Sammy stuff or Fair Warning or Women and Children first. That first album, it's not underrated. It may be underappreciated, but the groundbreaking moves that Edward Van Halen made on that record, people never heard anyone play a guitar like that. And it was almost like a rebirth of the guitar, almost like a second coming of Jimi Hendrix. And
Especially for the time.
yeah, for the time. And, he wasn't just recording stuff that sounded like nothing that had ever been recorded before, but he was taking gear and fiddling with it and, kind of building amps and, customizing his guitars because he was always chasing a certain sound. And when you listen to Van Halen on vinyl, man, it sounds great.
That's the way it's meant to be heard.
Yeah, those 6 original Dave era records just really sound great. So this is a repop. I have an original of this too. This is fantastic. 180 gram vinyl and just sounds perfect. But you can't overstate when you look into it how many sibling bands there are. I mean, so many, and a lot that you might not know about.
Yeah, and music has been that way for a long time. I mean, we go back. It's funny. Keith mentioned, "Hey, do you have any Andrews sisters?"
Yeah.
It's been that way for a long time. And when you grow up in the same household and you're a musician, it's probably easy to make the next step and become a popular band.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, another one that I didn't think of is Collective Soul. They're more of a contemporary one. You can just look it up and just read all day about these sibling bands. This was an idea we just had, and we want you guys to share your ideas for other top 5 throwdown rankings that we can do. And we'd love you to do that on YouTube, and we'd love you to communicate with us on our social medias. What else do we want these fine folks to do, Wheels?
Subscribe and give us that old thumbs up.
Absolutely. And don't forget to comment, please. The comments are a way for us to communicate directly to you guys. We want to thank you all for tuning in. We want to thank you for listening to the podcast, watching the unboxings, and enjoying all of the other things that are available on this splendid YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like vinyl, we're here.
Yeah. So for Wheels, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.